God's beauty is shown in our ugliest moments. And that's what I call a masterpiece. Your next move be your best move on God. That's for real like the Neptunes on God. No ego, cause I gotta say God like the Migos on God. It's the best move if you ain't talking about that. God bless you on God. Like an ego, cause I gotta say God like the Migos. You've been giving it your all. You've been reaching for the stars in the storm. You can tell me what it feels like.
Fam-a-lam, that's right. We back. God made dirt. You know what it is. You know, the podcast where we have real conversations behind the curtain of religion. You know, the stuff that the church is too religious, too churchy about, too uptight about, and the world is too embarrassed, too ashamed, too scared, too fearful to talk about. That's the stuff that we talk about here on this podcast. You know, it's me, you know, your boy Marcel be the MC, you dig? And then we got the lead and lady the one to be adored, soon to be married, BK in the house. What up, man? She's sporting that shiny rock. I hope he ain't like Martin and want her to wear the price tag on it, man. Now, if you don't know about Martin, you need to go check that out. Because he definitely wanted Gina to wear that price tag. But anyway, we got Ventura County's own. She's part of the land ministry. She's going to help you expand your borders. The Bible says it's lands. We're supposed to get lands, and she'll hook you up. You know what I'm saying? The real estate extraordinaire, Lachelle, what up? And definitely, last but not least, the chief geek, the code breaker, Tarmel, man. What's up, bro?
It's all good, man. We back in the building, man.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. Miss y'all, man.
Glad to have you back, bro. You know, we glad to have you back.
Hey, that was a dope episode, though, without me, boy. Y'all, something. I'm almost wondering if I'm necessary.
And before we go on, we definitely, no question, bro. Always, that's all five of us, man. That's why we want to send a shout out to Money Mike, the drummer extraordinaire. He's getting cigars with Mike off the ground. You know, he out putting in work.
What up,
we
bro?
want to shout out to our brother, man, for sure. But man, what's up, man? Tarmel, you had a week off, man. How was it?
You call that a week off?
Yeah.
With friends like you, bro. No, man. Everything good though, man. Everything is moving. We still pushing, trying to get the studio to another level. Checking y'all out. I really enjoyed y'all, man. Keep up the good work, for real.
Appreciate it.
The girls came through. They was bosses.
Man, they did, man. They put that pressure on us to speak on that abortion, but I'm glad that I said yes. It was an honor, man. BK. Yeah. Now you told us off air we should be expecting Evites. Now we're recording this. This is going on the record. You heard her, people. She said we should be expecting Evites, but how's the wedding planning going? What's been up with you?
It's been going pretty good. It's kind of stressful because I still got to be adored. I still got to do my regular bread and butter. I still got to do my side hustle. That's just me. I still have all the stuff to do and still got to be there for my family. My nephew, my youngest nephew, No, is graduating. His name is Noah, but I call him No. He's graduating, and I'm so proud of him. So
nice. Shout out to
gotta celebrate him too. Yeah.
Yes.
That's dope, man. Well, we appreciate you, man. Lachelle, what's
up?
going on for you over on the West Coast? What up?
Working, still building the business. Takes a long time, but I have a listing coming on the market soon, so I'm getting ready for that. And I know that that's just gonna overflow into more listings, so I'm excited about that. And I'm getting adjusted to a new space and a new time in my life, so I'll share that more once we get into the topic.
Nice, man. Let me ask you real quick though, because we never know. I know I'm a Joe Schmo when it comes to real estate. Is it a buyer's market right now, or is it a seller's market right now?
It's been a seller's market for the past 9 years, and depending on where you are, I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. We are in a housing crisis in California, Southern California especially, because we don't have houses. So for as long as that exists, we will be in a seller's market because it's all about supply and demand.
Wow. So there you have it, people. It's been a seller's market for the past 9 years. So all these people that's been saying it's a buyer's market at any point during these past 9 years, I don't think you knew what you were talking about. And I'm glad I didn't take your advice. But anyway, speaking of crisis, also before we move on, we want to send our heartfelt condolences to those that were victims and the families affected by the shooting in Texas at the Robb Elementary School. Senseless, man. Senseless, man. And who will we be of God Made Dirt to not pay attention to what's happening in the world? We continue to pray for those folks, all those affected. And man, let's continue to pray over our babies in these schools, man. Let's continue to pray over our lost children. You know, the enemy will not have the victory over our children or our hearts in trying to invoke any type of fear to make us not want to send our children to school. They covered. And you know, we're gonna keep praying and keep staying strong in this fight. And it's gonna be some resolutions when it comes to gun violence. I'm in belief and agreement for that. You dig? We in agreement on that, right, GMD?
Oh yeah.
Yes, we are. Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
For sure. So let's hop right in, y'all.
Hey, hold on.
Well, before we do it,
My
yeah,
bad.
what up?
My bad.
Go ahead, bro.
Find the angle to talk to your kids. Just last week, I you know, Marcel knows. I get a call. My kids on their desk, the lights off, the school on lockdown. So I'm driving to the studio. I get the call. At this point, I'm like, on the way to an important meeting. Is this some test or just some bull or is this the real thing, right? Then I was like, wait a minute, think about how he feel right now. Because he don't know. They didn't announce what it was. They just did it. Boom. So our kids are going through some times right now that we didn't. And we got to make sure we talk to them, navigate them. Now, luckily for me, it was a medical emergency. I got mad at the front office. It was a better way they could have categorized this whole thing, all of it. It was nothing serious, right? We've got to talk to our kids about how to navigate this at home. Do not leave it up to the teachers or to their friends. You talk to your kids, make an emergency plan with them, talk about what to do in the case, and just it's part of our lives now. I just want to say that.
Yep,
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
Tomel, because I don't have kids yet, but my best friend has been in the education industry since we graduated undergrad. So that's about almost 12 years ago. And she said that in our community, in the Black community, especially, like, we don't understand that teaching is a partnership with the parents. So it's not just that, like, you send your kids to school and the teachers take care of that side of things. Like, no, like, it's a partnership. And that's how your child gets the most, you know, out of that system, get educated, well educated, and really get fed what they need.
Yes.
Because each child is different. But if you just send your child off to school thinking that's the teacher's job, then they're not getting what they need. And neither are you.
Right.
Neither are you as the parent.
Right.
And cultivating that bond and you know, just giving your child knowledge that turns into wisdom.
There you go.
Yeah,
And reinforcing. So when they hear it from both angles, they take it more serious. They don't really take drill serious, but when they say this is not a drill, you know, they're terrified. And hopefully you gave them something for those moments. So
yeah, that's a great point, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't developed that emergency plan with MJ, just me and him and talk through that. But you saying that is like, oh yeah, wait, there's something different in school than when I went. I do need to have that conversation and just make that adjustment. You know, again, it's not to spread or invoke fear, is to be prepared, you know. We got to get an understanding with our children. So that's dope, man. Great input from y'all. BK, you want to say anything on this before we move on? Because this is super dope and useful. No matter what this topic is, I think this is very important.
Well, definitely, you should have not only emergency contingency plan at school, but that should also cross over to at home. What are you going to do if a real life crisis happens worldwide at home if you guys aren't all together at that time? And you need to set up a plan.
And so, speaking of journey, right? We're going to hop right in, man, because we ain't going to keep the people long, but we're going to keep them strong. You did. Yep. So speaking of journey, in off season and preparing for the season, Tarmel and I had a conversation, and I thought about it one day. I was like, man, Jesus was the most powerful person that ever walked the earth, right? Mm-hmm. He walked on water, brought sight to the blind, you know, healed the sick. He didn't have to walk anywhere. He could have teleported if he wanted to. He could have flew if he wanted to, but he chose to walk, right? He chose to walk. And we started thinking, man, so it had to be about the journey and what he could get done along the way that was more important than the destination was the cross. You know, it had to be about that. And so we wanted to hop into the journey on this episode, talking about the journey, and that, you know, that means different things for different folks. So my first question to y'all, right? What has the journey looked like for you up until this very episode 3, God Made Dirt? What has this journey looked like for you, BK? What's that journey look like for you?
It looked long, and there was a lot of waiting, honestly, in my journey in all different areas. A lot of inward reflection, a lot of time with God, definitely. Reading up on his word, praying, speaking with him, waiting for signs and wonders following those prayers, just for him to intercede on my behalf. It was worth it. No matter how many times I cried out to him, like, what more can I do? You know, what else do you expect from me? You know, because he can handle me. He can handle my verbiage. Me yelling at him ain't nothing. So just asking those things and realizing, like, okay, this is a period of you having to wait. I'll give you little seeds, little wins along the way, but in your ultimate goal or where you want to be, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to go along with this, and I'm with you all the way through it.
Wow.
So it's definitely a process, and it's still not done.
Wow. I got another question for you, BK, but Lachelle, I want to hear what the journey has looked like for you up until this point. You know, tell us about that.
So I'm gonna go macro, and then I'm gonna go micro. Macro overall journey up until this point, I was gonna say 30s because I'm in my 30s now, so it's a new level. I don't know about that. I ain't there yet. I'm like, ooh, life is life, and that's micro.
Right.
The macro version overall, I can definitely say I've had more highs than lows in my journey, and that's what gets you through the micros of the journey, is the reflection on what God has already brought you through. Yeah, it's been more highs than lows for sure. Micro, I feel like this year I've been in some of the hardest parts of my journey, but it's this part of the journey where I know that God is pushing things out of me so that I could be the best version of who he wants me to become, should I say. So this journey currently has been very, very, very challenging for me, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even sometimes physically. But when my journey started as a child, I knew I had to make a choice of what type of journey I wanted to have. And so far, I've been having that journey on a macro level.
That's super dope. Super dope. Chief Geek.
Man.
Now, I've been fortunate enough to be, you know, side by side with you.
Yeah.
On yours.
Word.
But from your perspective, because I know what our journey's been like from my perspective.
Hold on. I can prove it.
Let's get it. Look at the boy. Look at him. And if y'all don't know, yeah, you were definitely there, man. Right, side by side, every step of the way, man. So,
yeah,
the journey to you, what has it been, man? What has it been?
So, it's funny because the whole time I've been the oldest brother. I've always been kind of in the leadership space, right? Kind of like you go first, right? And now that I'm, you know, even with my kids, you know, my wife, everything, kind of the type of guy that lead his parents. You know what I mean? I'm, you know, so you always just expect it to be strong and just know what to do next, even though you never really do. I mean, you was there, bro. We probably led, end of the day, almost 30 people to Orlando, Florida from Detroit.
Facts.
And so now, though, so that's been the journey up to this point, right? So now it's like when you almost solidified in your space, you finally say, dang, I need somebody else to lead me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where you say, I need mentorship. I need people above me now that I can lean on. You know, it's finally to the point now where it's like, man, right? Like, dang, okay. Now let me replenish. Let me find something that I can reach up to myself now and be led the rest of the way, right? And so finally to that point.
Wow.
Finally.
That's dope, man. It's another dope perspective. Man, for me, I say for me overall, the journey has been constant defying the odds, right? Constantly, right? I grew up next door to a crack house. And I'm talking about multiple houses. East side of Detroit, crack house next door. West side of Detroit, crack house next door. Situations I was never supposed to make it out of, right? My stepfather beat my mom for like 10 years, right? I should have learned that behavior and adapted it. Never did it, right? Single parent household for the most part. Never, no college degree, no security cert. You know, I make six figures, right? Moved from Detroit to Orlando, never lived here a day in my life, just packed up everything and left. My mom said I'd be home in 3 months. I haven't been back since 2005 to live, right? And so there's these constant, hey, here's what it should be. And it was me like, no, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I married a woman with a situation most people wouldn't marry into or would think wouldn't work. You know,
Yep.
I met my wife. She had 2 boys, right?
Yep.
They were 5 and 7. They're 24 and 22 now. Those are my boys. You get what I'm saying? And so it's just constant. And so it like Tarmel said, when you hit such a stride on a journey, it becomes part of you, and now you expecting it, right? Now it's like, oh, I've been defying odds all my life, so now I expect to defy all odds for the rest of my life. That's just what it's going to be. But now I have to find new ways to challenge myself at the same time. So it's been a bunch of just defying the odds, man. And I'm gonna continue to do that. You know, I love the spot of the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when I'm most dangerous, and that's when God gets the busiest. You know. Yeah. He says it's the Bible. It says he shows his strength in our greatest weaknesses. So all those moments that we feel our biggest fear or the biggest doubt, right? For BK, it was patience, right? Understanding that it takes time, but fruit produces the best fruit takes the longest time to grow if you nurture it and water that ground. And those were the moments that she got with God. For Lachelle, there's a macro and a micro perspective, you know, one that has an overall, but she allowed one moment to produce the next, right? So it's like, hey, the fruit of this moment here literally is the seed for this next moment. And then Tarmel understanding position, right? A position of leadership that you constantly got to be forward thinking so much that now he sees into where he needs leadership himself, which is super dope. So again, I was telling everybody when we were preparing for the show that I love that we bring these different perspectives, because we know that you are all in different areas of life, and we like to meet you guys where you are. So I'm confident and have faith in God that one of these perspectives was the one you needed. But we're gonna keep it moving because we far from done. We far from done. We got some good stuff. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
So look, check it out. So the next question I got for y'all, and Lachelle, I want you on this one. Okay. So who's, you know, we identified what the journey has been, right? Yep. But who would you say, whose journey are you a part of? Who would you say is on that list for you?
Anybody want to take it? I could go first. Go ahead. You know, well, earlier in life, I was like definitely like a part of my my parents' journey, and I am the oldest of siblings on both sides. So, of course, my siblings' journey. And that immediately snowballed into me being like, okay, this is about impact. My life is about impact because I need to be the example for my siblings, so that they can see that there's better and you can do better and achieve, you could go well beyond what we were exposed to as children. Well, now, and my little cousins too, they were like sisters to me because we were, me and my TD were so close. But now everybody's adults. So I found myself in a space of where that has shifted. And the last person who I really was focused on impacting his life, my little brother, who is my late brother now, that really sent me into a downward spiral because I was like, well, I don't know what it's worth anymore. Like, I wanted to be this super successful businesswoman so that I could move him out here and get him out of New Orleans, and so that he could really experience a different life and everything and see that there's more to it. And that time was cut short. I didn't have as much time as I thought. So I was like, well, I don't know what it's for anymore. I don't have any kids. I have no idea what I'm doing this for anymore. So I had to go back to the beginning and say it's about impact. And I haven't met the people who my journey is really meant for yet. Maybe I've met some of them, but I think there's a lot more for me to meet. One of my goals as a child is to have millions of people at my homegoing celebration, because that's how much impact that I want to have.
Wow. That's super dope. Chief Geek, man, that was real deep. Chief Geek, whose journey are you a part of, man?
Yeah, so it's funny because when we talked about this episode, we knew that it would be emotional. One of the most emotional episodes that we had to date. It's a tough question, man. I actually think that right now, it changed for me as well with my brothers. I was like, kind of like the center of their universe, right? And now they're going their own ways, and most importantly, want to make sure I know that they're grown men, and I get it. But right now, man, the biggest journey other than my immediate family and my home and my boys is Detroit's journey. I actually feel like right now I'm a part of Detroit's journey. A lot of folks that's looking for an outlet, a lot of people that's trying to grow in the media space. Automotive has just been what it's been. That's it. It's been everything to us. The Motor City, you know what I'm saying? And so, some of these kids are dreamers, creators. And so one of the reasons I came home, other than hang out with Brooke, even though she wasn't here, but other than that, like for real, the real reason why I wanted to be here was to impact the city, man. And I think we're doing it now. I'm getting to work with all sorts of young kids on their way.
Yes, sir.
Locked in on their path.
Yes, sir.
Never know what it might turn into, right? But we're just planting that seed. And so that's that's pretty cool for me right now.
Yeah, that's super dope. And shout out to the Junior Ambassador Summer Camp coming up this summer, man. That's gonna be fire. Yeah, man. Exposure leads to expansion, you dig? So we teach in the future, you dig? BK, whose journey are you a part of? We know one person. We know one person. But whose journey are you a part of?
This one is difficult for me in retrospect, because I honestly believed that, my close friends, my immediate family, I was part of their journey. But realizing as that I'm the youngest in my immediate family, that they are more part of my journey than I am part of theirs. And so at some point in time, with them being my safety net, I had to let them go so that I could essentially kind of move forward, learn what it is that I needed to learn, and take this time with God, because where he's trying to take me, they can't go. And in that process, I also realized, like, where am I getting all this ambition from? This drive to be an entrepreneur, or just to succeed and strive for more. And somebody had asked me, like, why do you do all this extra work if it's not necessarily for the money? And for me, it was, I'm doing it for my future self, my future family. I'm doing it for a life that I don't even have yet.
Wow.
And now I'm slowly seeing that I am walking into that life. Like, that's where dope. It is I wanted to go in one direction, I realized in going that way that, like, I came to a fork in the road, and God's like, you want to go left, but what I have for you is to the right. So come this way with me. And I didn't realize that, because in college, all I wanted to do was be a doctor. But at the same time, I knew whatever it is I did in life, I was going to be good at it, no matter what job I had it. So, and all I ever wanted to be when I was a child, outside of a doctor, was a mother and a wife. And it takes me until I'm 40, when young me knew I was going to be driving a Lamborghini Diablo. At the age of 26, I was going to be living in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Like, I was going to have the dude, and everything was going to be great.
It ain't too late.
Right. No, out in the boonies.
But the fact that we think it's supposed to happen overnight, though, I mean, that's because, you know, at a young age like that, for me, my reality was based on TV, and in TV, everything happened really fast. By the time it seemed like they were 21, they had the husband and the house, and I thought I was supposed to have that too by that time. Man, talk about a letdown. It is not real. Even, let me just say to all, like, anybody watching the show that's, you know, younger, or you have this idea, even the celebrity world, a lot of them houses, them cars, them corporations are paying for that, not them people. Okay, so like a lot of it's just, it's not real. But our parents did the best that they could, and a lot of us, we didn't get that explanation. So at 21, I was sad. I was like, "Where my husband? Where my house? Well, I ain't got it yet." You know. So,
and see, at 21, I wasn't even thinking about a husband. I knew it would come, but not at 21. 21, I was wild.
I was
out there living in them streets.
I didn't want to get married. I didn't even want to get married at 21 at all. That wasn't even like, I'm not doing it. That was my take on it. But it's dope that you speak, you know, you talked about what you were doing was for the future, for future you. It made me think of this. Mark 11:23, right? It says, truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, they'll be done for them, right? My pastor says this a lot. Pastor Patrick Lagon, Great Faith Church, small plug, Sanford, Florida. He says the life that you live today is based off what you said yesterday, right? So what you're doing today is for tomorrow, you know. So that's the take that you had on that, BK. I think that's super dope. But I also wrote everybody else's down before I give my take on this, of course. Man, Lachelle with the impact, that was fire. That was super fire. And so I found it interesting as y'all answered this, that journey can mean where we're headed and where we went, right? And so it's a perspective thing, right? I definitely found that relationships have seasons along the journey, right? Journey relationships have seasons. You know, it started as being the older sibling, and then it transitioned to, okay, the siblings are now grown. Where do I pour into? And now you got to find a new outlet. So now y'all are essentially finding new siblings, right? It's a different kind of bond that's bonding you with these different people. And then, you know, Tarmel with the, you know, him being part of the city's journey, those are huge shoes to fill, right? But it's still perspective, right? I know Tarmel knows his role, so him fulfilling that is not pressure for him, because he's just doing him, you know. But it just so happened that God weaved him into the DNA of the city, and I agree with that completely. For me in journey, man, for me, it's everybody I come in contact with. I feel like, and it's alone the impact. I love taking Ubers, right? I love taking Ubers because I get to talk to a stranger. Every time I get to talk to somebody I never met and be able to establish a great rapport with them, be able to share my church with them. You know, I'm not super churchy, so I don't walk in, hey man, can you put the gospel music on? I ain't doing none of that. I'm just meeting them where they at. We kicking it. How your day going? How long you been doing Uber? Oh, okay, cool. Where you from? How long you been down here? Is it okay? So blah blah blah, and that leads one thing to another. And but I love those interactions because I am looking to be used by God at all times, right? And even as simple as an Uber conversation, right? If I could help, you know, like I love, so this is one of my things, I'll tell you this. So like when I was prime example, I took the Uber to the barbershop for the TV show. So I get in the car, hey, so you headed to the barbershop? Yeah, man, God, great, man. I'm gonna be on TV show tomorrow. You gonna be on the TV show? Yep, be on the TV show tomorrow, man. And I can't even tell you how it really happened, man, other than God is super dope, you know? Like, you know, I've never been on a TV show before. It's not a regular thing for me, man, but I'm truly looking forward to it. I do Christian hip hop. You do Christian, that's dope, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? I look to do that. I look for opportunities to do that all the time. So I feel I'm a part of everyone's journey that I come in contact with. I mean, you know, you got your base. Gotta have your base, man. You know, I got my main man, Tarmel, I got BK, I got GMD, I got Lachelle, I got Money Mike, I got my wife, my kids, my mom, my dad, my siblings. You know, that's the base, you know, my church. But I think it's about trying to be, you know, intentional about like a million people at the you know, at the ceremony means that she didn't know a lot of those people, but she impacted them, right? And so that's, you know, intentionally looking to be impactful in that journey, man. And y'all got some super dope answers on that, man. So before
you are an active listener.
for sure.
Yes.
For sure. I try. But look, so before we go into the last question, man, we're gonna hop into the code, and we got a special edition on this. Now, on this edition of the code, man, Tarmel the Chief Geek, man, look, I'm not gonna do it. I want you to let the people know what we got. What we about to check out for the people, what we about to show them, what we about to walk them into, man. Go ahead.
So, man, look, it's the code, man, where we vibrate at a creator's frequency on my show, man. You know what I mean? And I'd be lucky enough to just sit around some of the dopest, most brilliant minds in the world, I like to say. And so in this particular one, we got a chance to catch up with my main man, Kwame Kilpatrick, ex-mayor of Detroit. Right now, he is the leader of Movemental Ministries. So go check him out, movementalministries.org, man. We had a chance to sit down at Ambassador Studios in Southfield, Michigan. Check us out.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
This is the code where we vibrate at a creator's frequency.
Family, what's up, man? It's your boy T, Chief Geek. We doing the code today, man. We're vibrating at a creator's frequency, and it's me, man, father of four, master of none. And today, I got my main man, the myth, the brethren, Kwame. Now, are you going by pastor these days?
Well, you know, what you feel comfortable calling me is fine.
Okay.
I'm Kwame in here, but
Okay.
Pastor Kwame, I'm not, you know, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. Okay. But me and you, we just Kwame. we just talking today, right?
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, we're just kicking it today, man. Yeah. So first of all, thanks for pulling up, especially Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Peace and love. We love you guys.
Happy Mother's Day.
Absolutely. Like I want to go back. A lot of people don't know that you were actually my junior high teacher.
Yeah.
You know, so I was there when like your career first took off in teaching.
No question.
And man, that went fast because you were studying law at the same time. I remember this stuff. Yeah. Then it was politics, then it was mayor. Boom.
Right. Yeah, I was tired too. Yeah, I remember I came home from college in '93.
Okay.
And I got a job at Marcus Garvey Academy in the Detroit public school system. I was teaching social studies, and then after a month, the principal asked me to teach math too. So I had social studies and math. Yeah. And so I came over there, and it was this little kid, man, you know, Oh man, Tom Mayer. He was something else then.
Yeah.
But what you have become, man, you talked about my movement and my growth and my different transitions in life. Man, you are blowing my mind every time I engage you.
Man, I appreciate that. And I'm gonna be honest, man, a lot of that stuff, it came from those experiences in Marcus Garvey.
Wow.
And it was Mr. Franklin and you.
Wow. Yes. Big shout out to Eugene Franklin since you brought him out. We got to do that.
We got to do that. We got to show the love, man.
No question.
It was so you didn't just teach us academic. So first of all, like you like the biggest guy I know that you still down to earth. Like even in stature, like the way that you connect.
Yeah.
Like when you walk in the room, it's like, oh, okay. The whole atmosphere changes, and it's always been that way.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So thanks for being that way and never changing.
No doubt. I'm from here. I am us. Marcus Garvey had a quote that says, I am because we are. There's no way that I could exist outside of who we are. This community that we are in now, it provoked me to be great. When I saw Coleman Young at 10 years old, I said, I want to be that, a sharp black man who was leading a city and was absolutely unafraid in his job. And I just said, man, that is awesome. But I also saw doctors and lawyers and pastors and street dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody had a swagger around here that said, we are all a part of something great. And that's why I love this city. I have not seen that kind of energy amongst black men in particular, but also black people anywhere else but Detroit. And people always holler Atlanta, but it's a different energy.
It's a little different. It is a different energy. Like when you go there, you feel like, man, this might be the closest, but not quite.
It's not quite. And I love Atlanta does what it does.
Yes.
They have, Atlanta always makes uniquely Atlanta stuff. I like how they promote and their town.
They got their energy.
They got their energy, but it's different than Baltimore and different from Detroit and different from other places. And this difference here is the one I grew up in, and I love it.
There it is. And in your way, you personified it for us, especially our generation, man.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So let's get back to this thing, because now look, this was a big brother, feel me, as a teacher. You know what I mean? Like Mr. Franklin was like, he was a little older, but Kwame was like, we can't really mess up because we got to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? And so we learned how to be young men, like for real. So I'm going somewhere with this.
Oh man.
All right. So I ain't gonna talk about the ring this time. I'm talking about something different. So you would drop these jewels, right? And I don't know if you remember this one, but in 6th grade, being taught not to pee in the shower by you was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was like those the type of things he would tell us, like, hey, look, guys. And it was like, because it was always all boys, you know what I mean? And you would just lay this stuff out. You was there. We went to summer camp together. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, summer camp was off the hook.
Until the tornadoes came through.
The tornadoes blew the thing, tents and everything. But we stood strong.
We stood strong.
We stood strong. And you remember when the guy pushed little Ralph?
Yep. Oh gosh. Man, it was a lot of memories before even the mayor thing. But my favorite part about you is the codes, man, the jewels, the nuggets, the accountability. Yesterday, we spent time at our Corktown location with some brothers.
Yeah.
And you start diving into it again. Literally. I saw the men standing and they were like soldiers at attention. You know what I mean? Like the way that you command that still today. And you talked about accountability, men having accountability, men having men around you that'll tell you when you wrong, go home. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, one of the things, and we don't have to over spiritualize some things.
Yep.
We are here and we're responsible. We're stewards over what the things that God gives us, and children and a wife and a home. And we need men around us that sharpen us. And most of us become creatures of the people that we hang around.
Yep.
You start doing what they're doing. Somebody said yesterday that if you hang around the barbershop long enough, you'll get a haircut.
Finally.
You're going to sit down in that chair. And it's the same thing. And what I was talking about yesterday is we have to check who we're around.
Yeah.
When I was out there committing adultery, hanging out, nobody that I was with was a straight guy talking about, hey, man, don't do that. Go home. Be with your kids, man. You're wrong.
Right.
And so my circle was me.
Huh.
And so what we were talking about yesterday is that it's time for us in this life to really start taking accountability. And if we don't have it ourselves and we need some strength in that area, we need to have a circle of people around us to say, man, go home.
Absolutely.
Go and take care of your business. You know you have this coming up. You don't need to be out here drinking and hanging.
Yep.
Go home, man, and get yourself prepared for what you're about to do. What we see now with LeBron and Chris Paul and all these guys, they're starting to get the message that this family life is important to billions.
Yep.
And it's important to success. And so we see it on a large level, but we don't see it in the interacting in our daily
dig
lives.
into that more, because that one little string,
that's it,
can unravel everything.
You know, we talked about it yesterday, and it was a fella's conversation, and I could be a little bit more blunt, you know. But there are many, many men right now that are messing up destiny, chasing something they ain't got no business chasing. They're messing up opportunity, spending too much time on things that they have nothing to do with where they're going. You got some of the greatest and most talented individuals in neighborhoods all over this city and around this country right now that look just like us. But they are chasing the wrong things. They're putting too much of their time, attention, and focus into the wrong things. It's not that they don't have opportunity. They have opportunity. They don't have focus. And we need to have people to say, man, be accountable. Spend some time on this. Do this. And when I was in the prison, being completely transparent, that was my job. My job was to go to the guys that was GDs and Vice Lords and Bloods and Crips and say, man, listen, man, I hear you on this. I see you committed.
Okay.
But you're too talented to just do this. You could be doing this, 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 and this. But what I saw, when you show focused people and committed people another way, they dive into it full stop. And you see that from where you from. Some people just focus and some people not. But when you find somebody that's focused, that want to go to the next level, and you teach them a new way, man, he gone.
Focus is transfer. It's a transferable trait.
Absolutely.
It work across the board, even in your family life.
No question.
So for me, so my framework in my life is I do the 4 F's: faith, family, fitness, finance. And like I told Antoine, if you do those good enough, then you get the secret F. You get to have fun.
That's good.
You know what I mean? We don't put it the opposite way. So building framework.
And let me give you one of that.
Okay.
Fun then becomes interwoven in all of them. You have fun when you faithful. You have fun with your family.
Finance.
You have fun and finances.
Fitness.
That's exactly right. You start to actually like the stuff that
becomes your fun.
That becomes your fun.
And that is like how you build success, just locking in. But so my question for you, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday as well. Why do you think it's so hard for the African American community to just come together and build strong frameworks, build strong family and finance, and take fitness serious? Like,
generationally, we were put through for hundreds of years a system and process where only a few were chosen.
Okay.
And most people just wanted to be the black that was chosen.
Right.
And even though that system is not in place in law, it's still in place in a lot of people's souls. So we kill each other to be the black that's selected. And we've been doing it since 1600s. And so the problem we have is that if I align myself with Tom Mayer, if I get with T and he's doing music or production, or he's doing this and I'm doing it too, he's going to take something from me.
Competitor.
He's a competitor. I see him as a competitor. But if iHeartRadio reach out to him, he ready to go to the meeting because he doesn't see them as a competitor. He automatically sees them as someone that can help him grow. But we don't see each other like that, because deep within the recesses of the Negro mind is a plantation system.
Come on with it.
And so we can't really break ourselves free of that to just say, that's not my competition, man. Me and him, instead of going after this $5 million pot together, we can go after this $10 million pot. And we could split it up a little differently. And we could leverage the $10 million to go after this $100 million. And this not nobody, because you got a lot of people seeing this. I just met, John Rogers and Jim Reynolds, guys that people don't know their names. They in Chicago, they finance guys. They billionaires now because 5 finance guys came together and said, let's stop going after $50 million deals and go after $1 billion deals. And they did it. And when Obama came in, they went and got a $660 billion deal. They ain't never got to work again. But these are people you never heard of that's getting in the room. All of them were successful. All of them were millionaires. But when they got together, they now worth 800 million.
It's a different ball game.
It's a whole different ball game.
And other coaches do it all the time.
They do it all the time. And we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
I've been, in some rooms where these two people from other nationalities, other ethnicity, they can't stand each other, talk about each other. To me, I can't stand him. He's this, he's that. But when they sit down at that table, they get the deal done.
Yep.
They shake hands, they talk stuff, and then they walk out and say, I can't stand that guy.
But the business is done.
The business is done.
Yeah.
It's not about emotion. And sometimes in our community, emotion is the number one thing. How we feel about something. I don't like him. I don't like her. I don't like this. And so we move. That's how we do politics, and that's how we do business.
Yeah, we're led by emotion.
Yeah,
all the time, man.
So we easy to move.
That's deep. That's deep. So, all right. Before we get out of here, we got to get into the most important thing today: movemental ministry.
Amen. Amen.
Come on, you got to bless us. What's the vision? What made you to come up with it? What is it? How do we get involved? The whole nine. Come on with it.
All right, movemental. That word was a word that I saw in a book that I was reading in a solitary confinement cell. So I like to say it was born out of the darkness of a womb of creativity, of revelation and deliverance. And so I'm not there anymore. So obviously I was supposed to be taking something out of there and bring it out here.
Yep.
And so movemental was in this book that basically talked about Jesus Christ being a man on a mission. He wasn't a dude that was coming to start a church. I heard a guy say that. He a dude that came to start the church. No, he came to bring a movement to earth from his destination that used to be heaven. And that movement was a kingdom concept. So everybody in it was to be royalty.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't ever for us to go and sit in a building.
Right.
It was for us to have a missional movement that was founded in him. And so they put that word together, movemental. It's a movement, but it's also missional. And it also targets the mind.
Yeah.
And so
internal.
The battlefield that we have to get through is the one that's in the mind.
Yep.
Most people won't engage whatever because it's something that they fed their own minds, sometimes way back in 6th, 7th grade. And they're living out of a mind that's been poisoned and contaminated by a lie. And so what movemental strives to do in its discipleship, in its efforts, in its delivery of the gospel of Jesus Christ is try to free people in their own minds. Bob Marley says, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. And he said we have to engage I, who he calls that he calls God. So that engagement, that movement, that intelligence, that supernatural intelligence is what we're trying to deliver to people to help them know who they really are. And that is something different than going to church. Yes, we will worship. Yes, we will praise. Yes, we will pray. But we will also get people the tools that they need to become all that God destined for them to be.
How do we get to it? How do we get involved? Where is it? Where is it? Can I get it on my phone? Is it on YouTube?
Man, I heard you. Hey, Malik, I hope you're listening. Yeah, I just got a question. Is it on my phone?
Yeah.
And we supposed to have an app for the phone. We'll have that app. I heard yesterday we had that app by the end of June.
Okay.
So people will get it on their phone, but they can visit our website now, movementalministries.org. Please get your information there. You can reach out to us, contact at Movemental Ministries, and we could talk to you about how to get involved with us. Right now, we live in the virtual space, but God is moving us to get a building. We know.
Okay, so that's in the plan.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're gonna want to pull up and come see you.
We need a headquarters. we need a headquarters, you know, and it's not. We don't want it to just be a church, but a center, a place where people can come and get what they need to be better, to be healed, to be delivered, to be new.
Yeah.
To be transformed. And so we got to have a building.
Absolutely.
So we coming, and you'll see us over the next few months get that going.
I'm happy, man. Well, one more thing before you get out of here, man. So this also serves as a segment on the God Made Dirt podcast.
All right.
And what we do on that podcast is we also try to help people when they walk with Christ.
That's good.
Sometimes our dirt or our mistakes or our missteps, they kind of keep us away from him. You know, we shame to walk with him when he know everything about us. He formed us in our mother's womb.
Yeah.
Right. And so our mistakes, he uses our masterpiece in the end.
Yeah.
You know, your assignment, like you no matter what, man, you just keep being on time for your assignment.
That's it.
The speed that you move at every time, it's got to be God. The way you move,
No question.
Um,
and let me say this to that, because I know everybody's listening has heard about Kwame Kilpatrick's failures. They've heard about his fall. But in that, there's something about understanding that everybody's life is a sermon. You know, the preacher always starts a sermon with something whoa. You know, a great preacher. I mean, if you listening to T.D. Jakes or something, he starts you about, oh, you going down, down, down. And the end of the sermon is always something coming up, up, up.
Yep.
And the reason why is those biblical figures, whether you're talking about David or Jacob or Joseph, they had to go down.
Yep.
And what I want people to understand is all of the stuff that I allowed myself with my crazy mind to get involved in, everything that the dirt did to get on me, I'm using right now to dig my way back up.
all things.
And
all
you
things
know
come together.
what I found out
What's that?
is that I have more understanding, more compassion, more empathy, more wisdom when I'm talking to somebody that I wouldn't have had before. I've had cellies that have been lifers. My first cellie was 25 with a double life sentence. So I would have never met that guy.
Yeah.
But for what I went through and never been able to talk to him about the things that we he started off asking me had I ever been to the BET Awards. By the time I left that prison, he was getting he had gotten his GED and he was starting a 2-year college, and he was talking about, hey, man, hey, how you get funding if you want to start up, you know, you talking about the auto mechanics, but you know, I get my certificate next week. He was on something totally different, but that engagement helped him and it helped me.
Yep.
And that's the thing about when you go through dirt. Because that soil produces good fruit. If people would allow that dirt to let it work in their souls and their spirits.
Man, listen, man, y'all heard it here first, man. Hey, look, we love you.
Man, love you, bro.
I'm glad that you took out time to talk to us. We want to get involved any way we can. Here at Ambassador Studios, man, we're going to be part of your army, man.
That's good.
We hanging in the wings, man. We want to
good.
know what we got to do to lock in.
That's good.
Because we locking in.
You know, Tony Brown, who was a famous speaker, he said that money is not the most important thing, but it's right up there with oxygen. But I have a different feeling.
Yeah.
I really believe boots on the ground are more important.
Yeah.
I think when you have an army, you have all the resources you need to produce whatever you need.
Absolutely.
And that army does not have to be monolithic. It doesn't have to be one way. You can have an army that deals with finance. You can have an army that deals with media. You can have an army when you want to come and do podcasts. You can get out a message. You can have an army when you need to go get some funding for it. And so that army can be in places that people don't even know they're there.
Yep.
And so I think that's more valuable. Resources are more valuable than just money and more broad than just money. And so I appreciate the army.
What's the key to building an army?
The key to building is first know what you need.
Okay.
You can't just have an army.
Right.
You got to have a targeted focus that the army builds around.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning now.
Okay.
Because when it was Kwame Kilpatrick for mayor, it was easy.
Yeah.
It was so easy to build an army. I mean, I know what we're trying to do. I know what we're trying to get done. You get here, this is what you need. You got to go here. When you're building an army and you got to focus on getting people delivered, making people better fathers, better husbands, helping people in entrepreneur life get into business and funding. It's such a broad, different thing. So you need a different type of army and a different type of focus. But that's what you do. You go to, you go to Tamel, you go to Willie. You say, hey man, what are y'all trying to do? Right. And let's build an army around this. There's no reason why you're not engaged, why you can't walk right up on the 11th floor and say, we're doing a bunch of stuff over here in Corktown and we're here. And you should be able to access city government, access state government and grants. You should be able to go to a bank and get some money. You should be able to have a meeting with the president. Well, I'm a person that knows people like that. So how do we then develop around that? Then now y'all go out and say, man, listen, we need an army over here because that army is in place. And so you build it around the idea.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Jesus Christ in the Bible, it says, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. Well, what is his mind like? He had a mind to spread the kingdom of heaven and earth, to enlarge the territory of heaven, bring heaven to earth. This is the same mind you have. You ain't trying to stay in Southfield.
I'm already now. I mean, I was with you at Corktown.
That's
yesterday.
right. You Corktown. You going down south. You going out
everywhere.
You trying to spread your business knowledge and opportunities all over.
Absolutely.
And that's a kingdom mindset. And that's how you build an army, by helping people understand how to do that.
Man, thank you, man. And we're gonna catch up with you soon, man. This is Kwame Kill. I call him Kill. Pastor Kwame, the mayor to some folks, man. And he locked in with us on the code, man. We love y'all. Till next time. Peace.
Man, that's super dope, bro. Super dope, man. Kwame Kilpatrick, though, bro.
Man.
Wait. Termel, I know you for a long time, since my junior year in high school. So I knew he used to be your teacher. Then he became the mayor. You know him personally. So with everything that's been going on, how did it feel to like just sit down and chop it up with him? I'm like, I know that had to be exciting.
Yeah, man, it was. It was like, it was personal. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, because right now he's doing like a lot of media tours. He's building his brand, his movemental ministries. It wasn't about none of that, man. It was just like two old pals catching up. And this time I'm not, in junior high, I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? And he had a lot to do with the code. He was part of the code. And so it was just crazy to experience. It was full circle for me.
That's super.
The journey.
I can't wait to see that
The journey.
The journey.
Yeah, me too.
Right, man. So we're gonna stay on this journey, man. And our last question. I'm actually gonna answer this one first to get out y'all way on this one, right? So this question is, what is the journey like today? What is the journey like today? Now for me, the journey today is, man, multitasking and organization are like that has like my journey all over it, like balancing all these different hats. It went from very singular vision, right, to God saying, no, you're capable of much more and you don't have to do them one at a time, right? But sometimes I do feel like I'm adjusting, like it's like different knobs, right? And I gotta adjust different knobs all at the same time, like I'm fine-tuning different things all at the same time. Sometimes I feel scattered, but sometimes I feel really locked in and really keyed in. So what I'm trying to figure out within myself on this journey is, when I'm locked in, what's the difference between when I'm locked in and when I'm scattered? I want to know what's the difference. Am I doing something different? Is my routine different? Am I believing something different in my heart? Am I eating something different? What is it that makes me feel more locked in on some days than others? But that's what my journey that's what my journey is like today. What about you, BK?
Yeah, definitely wearing a whole bunch of different hats. Things seem to be moving like in warp speed. But I'm realizing my journey today for me is very intentional in everything that I do. It's intentional. And I'm realizing in my intention that he's given me a patience that surpasses all understanding. Like things that would affect me before don't even faze me anymore. It's kind of like, well, I mean, if I can't do anything about it today, oh, well, there's no point stressing over it, which sometimes even shocks me, because I realized just a few years ago, I would have been picking up the phone. Daddy, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, Termel, what do you suggest? Do you think I can call Bleedo and find out, like all type of stuff? Like, and now it's just kind of like, no, you're prepared for this. You can handle this. And realizing also in that time, I'm impacting other people. Like, I've had girlfriends come to me and say, because of how you move and things that you do, it made me want to read the Bible more. It made me, start going to God more, because I can see him through how you act now. And they're like, and it just, I just want some of that. And I'm like, oh, wow. And just even like some of new friends that I have that are married, and they see how I react with their wives and stuff like that. And when their wife's tripping in a relationship and talking about divorce and all this, and I'm like, you're married now. There is no divorce. And why are you tripping about little stuff? Let's see what the Bible has to say about this. And I bring them back to the Bible, and they're like, I don't know how I ever got away from this. And they're like, you just helped save our marriage. I'm like, no, I didn't. I just redirected you to the source. He helped you save your marriage. So to me, it's like putting God in everything that I do, but in my own little way, and being very intentional.
Yeah.
Super dope, man. Lachelle.
BK, can I just say there is no better way to lead than by example. And right now, you are leading by example, and that's why people are drawn to you. And then God know you're gonna direct them to the source, so He gonna keep giving that to you, so you could keep putting that out and keep redirecting them to Him. That's dope.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lachelle,
Yes.
What's the journey like for you today? What is it?
The journey for me today is challenging. I don't like to use the word hard because hard is stagnant. Hard is a stop to me in my mind. At least that's how I see it. But challenges can be overcome. So the journey to me is challenging because I used to be easily filled. And I was so committed to the burden that I placed on myself to save my brother. And that's what it was. Like I just literally wrote the other day in my journal that, God, I thought, I was maybe not more of a savior, but equal of a savior. Like you needed me for him as much as we both needed you.
Wow.
And by God allowing the situation to transpire where his life was taken, it's been a real check for me, like you were so committed, you gave yourself this burden that was driving you, and you don't have that anymore. So now what? But the burden was driving me in a good way. That's the thing. It was pushing me to be better. It was pushing me to have more impact. I tell people my daily goal is just to sprinkle a little glitter on the life of every person that I meet. So, nice. Yeah, now that I don't have that burden anymore, I'm really working on releasing myself of that burden because that's part of the grieving process. I found myself challenging because that burden kept me filled, and I pour out more to people than people are able to pour into me, because wisdom is one of my divine gifts, and encouragement is also one of my divine gifts. That's what God gave me. That's my nature. Yep. So being a person that pours so much out, now I need it and I don't know where to get it from. So right now on this journey, I'm seeking, like I'm looking for a pastor who can teach me God in a way that I don't already understand. And my level's so high with it right now, I'm like, I need caviar. Because if I go to a service and I'm not taking notes, that means you're not teaching me nothing new. You just, it's a reminder, and that's good. So right now my journey is challenging, but right now I'm also seeking. I know that I have to understand God, and even more so the spiritual realm, because I think that's the part that I've never been taught. I've never been to a church until recently. Me and my husband just went to one where the minister talked about the spiritual side. And when you understand the spiritual side of God, you understand the capacity of like him at a bit. Like we only see him in our human sense, but he's so much bigger than that. One of the scriptures that recently resonated with me, I don't know which sermon, what pastor it was, but basically the pastor brought up the scripture in Jeremiah where God said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. And when he broke that down, that meant that God was talking to somebody in time, outside of time. That, like, what? Like,
yeah, that's a wild moment.
Yeah,
it's a brain mind blowing.
That's the level of understanding I am seeking right now. But it scares me because when I was younger, I used to have a lot of dreams that may have been visions of me casting out demons. So I'm like, oh, is that where I'm headed? I don't know, but I know you have to understand God in the spiritual realm to that magnitude to be able to be used in that capacity.
Sheesh, that's crazy. Chief Geek, I don't know how you gonna follow that. Seriously. But what's the journey like for you today, man?
I definitely ain't gonna follow that. I'm just gonna go next. Just gonna go next. But the one thing I want to say to y'all, man, and you know, it's cool because I'm actually sitting around other entrepreneurs and other believers and other people in positions of leadership to kind of understand the journey of where we at today. And you know, I just want to say it ain't what it might be. This is what it is. It ain't what it might be. This is what it is. You know what I mean? Some days you wake up, you're wondering if you got enough. You got a whole lot of doubt, a whole lot of problems, a whole lot of real world things that's pulling on you. And then some days you wake up and you got it. You got it all figured out, man. But it ain't what it might be. This is what it is.
That's what
y'all
it
are
is.
who y'all are, bro. So I want y'all to say with me that it ain't what it might be. This is what it is.
It ain't what it
It
might
ain't
be.
what it might be.
What
This
might be
what it
is
is.
what it is.
One more time. One more
It ain't
time.
what it
It
might
ain't what it
be.
might
What
be.
it might
This
be.
is what
This
it
is.
is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and so like, I just when we get up and we ain't feeling that trigger just hit, like boom, it's like, where's that? What's going on? Wait a minute, damn, I ain't got it. You know, I start reaching for my pre-workout, you know, coffee. You know what I'm saying? Just the things that make me feel, all right, it's time to look in the mirror because, dude, we here now, for real, and this is us for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, she talking about 30s, I'm talking about 40s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this for real. This is us.
Yeah.
This is us, man, and we built for it. And where I'm at in the journey right now is every day starting over, every moment reminding myself I have enough, but also encouraging the people around me that it ain't what it might be. It's what it is.
It's what it is.
You know what I mean? So we're gonna step into this thing together, man. That's where I'm at with it.
That's super dope. I know you want to lead the people on one more thing. I just wanted to wrap up what I heard from both BK and Lachelle on that, which is crazy, man. I brought a term to Tarmel probably about a year ago. It might have been two. Spiritual resonance, right? Spiritual resonance is a resonance effect created by most powerful emotion, faith, to annihilate the most anti-spiritual entity. What I heard both BK and Lachelle say is that they are feeling the pressures of being a spiritual resonance in different people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Lachelle's been dealing with it for a while, so much so that she's trying to understand the capacity of it, right? Feeling that maybe the spiritual resonance power was gone. Well, what happened to her brother happened, and just dealing with that, right? And then BK stepping into it, right? Now noticing that, hey, I not only have this peace of God in the middle of a storm, I can help you now in your storm and lead you to that same peace, you know, that spiritual resonance. And then Tarmel following up with the practical, you know, a very practical approach to navigating those waters of being a spiritual resonance, and summing it up with, it ain't what it might be. It's what it is, man. And I could dig that. That's what's up, bro. So, man, hit us with one more thing, man. Before we get out of here.
Look, man. So, you know, when we was talking about this, then I looked on my timeline, man, and I saw something from my brother, man, Jermaine James, man, Mr. Bellwether, Mr._Bellwether, man, and he's got one of the dopest podcasts on the planet right now for Inspire. It's called Inspire
God's People.
If you ain't heard it, go check it out. He's the most consistent podcaster on the planet, bro.
Yes, sir.
We pale in comparison. You know what I'm talking about?
Just had Montel Jordan on the episode.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's my dog. But what he said today reminded me of the journey. And he said, you've come a long way. The world is hustling, and that's cool. You're on God's timing, though. So it's important that you work as unto him. Balance is really tough to master. We often find ourselves either wasting too much time being lazy or overworking ourselves in the stress. Take a deep breath. This is a marathon, and marathons have checkpoints. Give yourself permission to celebrate the checkpoints. Remember that direction is far more important than speed. Go in the direction over a long period of time, and you will be successful. Let me re-say that. Go in the right direction over a long period of time, and you'll be successful. Give yourself credit if you deserve it. And if not, earn it. I love that from him, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love, brother.
Shout out to Jay Will, man. That's super dope, man. Make sure y'all check that out. Inspire God's People. Super dope podcast combining faith with entrepreneurship and business, man.
Yep.
Super dope podcast. We got to get him on, matter of fact. We got to get him on GMD, man. It got to happen.
We're gonna do
sir.
it.
Yes, sir. So, man, there y'all have it. Before we got out of here, BK, hey, I done ran out of supply. You know what I'm saying? My beard, I done ran out of supply. I need to re-up. Beador.com, y'all. And this beard butter, I'm telling y'all, man, for the fellas in the beard game, make sure y'all tap in, man. Check out the description down below and hit up Beador and get your issue, cuz. You know what I'm saying? On hood. But look, man, make sure you tap in with Lachelle. She already putting y'all up on game. Now, that nugget she gave in the episode, that's free. But we charging her on out. You did? It's real estate listings, you know, the tips and tricks. That's all. That's, you know, intellectual property cost.
To be sold, not told. You did.
You understand? So she already gave y'all one. So make sure y'all tap in with her for the rest. Chief Geek always got something going on. Yeah. Always got something going on. Junior Ambassador Summer Camp this summer.
Bring
more
your kids.
On the code.
Bring your kids.
Bring your kids, man. And
what's the age range for that?
So we got two different programs right now. We got elementary, and then we got the junior high one. So, and then in the late summer we'll do our high school one. So but I got a special apprenticeship program right now for anybody from the ages of 14 to 21 that want to work. I got a job for you. Pull up.
Yes, sir.
Pull up.
See what I'm saying? So we'll put that link in the description. Go down, get your issue, cuz. But look, so man, also make sure y'all check out cigarswithmike.com. Cigars with Mike. Let me take the ebonics out of that. Cigarswithmike.com, man. Make sure y'all tap in with the homie. He is the cigar connoisseur, the cigar concierge. Man, he gets busy. I'm telling you, he knows what he's talking about. Yep. He put us up on game. And we're gonna be celebrating Tarmel's 40th birthday in a few weeks. And man,
we shooting the episode out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be some cigars involved too. I already know it is.
Great episode.
Yep. So make sure y'all tap in. Make sure you lay hands on that like and subscribe button, and just tap in with us. Catch all the other episodes, and we'll be back next week. You dig? And y'all know how we do it. Lachelle, you ready?
I'm ready.
GMD, it's all on us.
I know.
Peace.